Good morning, good afternoon, good night. It is the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast. I am with your boy, the CEO, the founder, the man, Ryan Dyrud. We're without our girl Candace. She had a big win tonight. What was that picture? 48-0 or something like that?
Something like that. Victory Thursday out in Michigan, I guess. So we'll hold down the fort out here in LA.
Yeah, she said she was stuck in victory traffic. We need to teach her how to do it from her phone, but that's for later days. Go ahead.
I love that she says victory traffic, like talking to two guys from LA, like we're in always traffic, like, and you have a Thursday high school victory traffic, like that's when you know you're in a small town.
It takes me an hour and 30 minutes to drive home, and I'm only driving 42 miles. So
yeah,
it's victory there. Yeah, I guess. How are you doing though, Ryan? Everything's good?
Good, bro. Yeah. Glad to be back on with you talking about the men of Troy. Big week this week. Week 1 officially against Nevada, but things are good. Was out at practice on Tuesday, so saw Coach Riley, Coach Grinch, and some players. And you know the weather, the temperature is going to start coming down a little bit. We got a nice high 70s for kickoff on Saturday. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, something like that. Speaking about practice, so how was practice? How was the feel of practice? What were they talking about? Just give us a quick practice report on how you feel about practice and all those things in their prep for this week.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple things, like I've said this before, I'll reiterate it now that we're doing this show together more frequently, but it's at practice, media gets basically the first 15 minutes. It's when they're doing like some individual work, some stretches, then you have to leave and you can come back at the very end for interviews. So you don't really get to see much, obviously. So I can't sit here and tell the good people about, what we saw schematically or who was lining up with the ones or who was rotating in and out. But, little things here and there, obviously the talk of the town, including in the practice facility, Zachariah Branch, you just feel the swagger after that week 1. He's shagging punts and individuals, but you can just tell that there's like a vibe out there that they know they got the next great one after just one game. So, you can feel that high energy. I mean, this was a Tuesday, Wednesday practice, so still a few days ago and midweek, but you can just feel Alfred. Like I told you, I was there last year. I was there the year before. Last year was very different than the year before. This year is very different than even last year. Like you can tell it is business. It is a culture to win. It is a, demanding perfection, demanding improvement. Every single rep you take, the longer it goes, the better we get, as their slogan is now. So you can feel that even in those first 15 minutes. Afterwards, Coach Riley talked very candidly afterwards, and nothing real. I'm trying to think if there was any real big notes from his, 5 minutes talking to the press. Just kind of talked about obviously how well Zachariah played and adapted. Talked a little about Tackett, Curtis. Talked about what he thought of the defense and his expectations. Pretty typical of what you expect from Riley. Coach Grinch, obviously that was probably the interesting one to hear from, considering what the defense did, and he was very honest and basically said, you know what, we're not here to make excuses. We know this is not an excuse. However, just want to at least state, this is the first game that any of these guys are playing together. 8 of these guys are brand new to this team that started or so. So it's gonna be a work in progress. We did some things good. We did a lot of things bad. Like there's a lot we got to clean up. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. He's like, all the things we did bad are all correctable. I think that was the big takeaway is, when there's lack of effort or guys completely in the wrong areas or just not wanting it, like that's when you have a real issue, because that's a culture thing. That's a determination. That's a work ethic thing. But if it's a blown coverage or not being gap sound, or like we said, a QB spy going to the wrong gap instead of holding contain, those are coachable things that you expect those mistakes, and give credit to San Jose State. They took advantage of them. So I just talked for a long time, but those were kind of the big takeaways from a simple practice on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's good. So you mentioned Tackett Curtis, and I know he only played one game, but I like the way he played, and I think he has a lot of potential. But what were the comments about Tackett Curtis? That means if the head coach has mentioned you in media day, that means he's kind of high on you. So do you remember any of those comments from Tackett about Tackett from Riley?
Mainly just, guy plays above his years, like, and I'm paraphrasing and stuff, but the big thing that everyone says is the work ethic, the drive, his football IQ for being so young, only 18 years old. Mm-hmm. He was actually one of the guys interviewed at the NBA media, and one of my colleagues asked him about, he comes from a town in Louisiana of like 2,000 people and, moving to LA, like what's that culture change? And basically he just said, I'm about ball. Like I'm here to football and that's what I'm focused on. And so I've had my teammates, my brothers, and they've helped me adjust. So I just, it just sounds wise above his ears, knows what the purpose is. And, his coaches just rave about really his work ethic and what he does in practice and how he's been able to adapt into the scheme, into the system so quickly. Because, when he was recruited, there was a lot of hype around this guy, Al, but I don't know if anyone expected him to be starting week 1. I mean, USC,
a true freshman. Yeah.
True freshman. This. Obviously, you played at USC. SC's been known for, wide receivers, been known for running backs, been known for quarterbacks. They've also been known for linebackers. Some great linebackers, especially if you were the 5'5". Now, I'm not saying he's on the 5'5" level. Yeah, he played one game, but it's rare that a true freshman gets the start. And so that's between him and Zachariah Branch, like, holy cow, this freshman class is pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big plus. Like I said, I was high on him. I'm also high on Mason Cobb, but we already know what to expect from Mason Cobb. So for him to get that opportunity to play as a true freshman, and the good thing about a true freshman is he's going to make mistakes, right? And as long as those mistakes are attainable and he has people behind him to prevent him from that mistake becoming a big play, then it's all good. It's okay to mess up. If they're still in their teens, we give them a pass to mess up, right?
Exactly. Exactly. The only other thing I'll add is, depth chart came out again today. We'll talk more about that probably later, but Tackett and Mason Cobb still are slated in as the starters at backer. However, Gentry, who did get in the game last week and looked good when he was there, is healthier, so he'll definitely get more playing time. Shane Lee, who I think basically did not play at all, we asked coaches that on Tuesday, and that was mostly due to, still rehabbing and his body getting right. So as he gets healthier, he'll be getting more playing time as well. So if anyone has fears of Shane Lee or why he's not there, it was more not that he's injured, just coming back and getting healthy than it was just him, again, not taking anything from Tackett, but not having the ability to be out there and play.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it is what it is. Shane's not bad. Shane, you got to change your defense up a little bit, but neither here nor there. Hopefully it works out and you get a good rotation. I did see Gentry go down on that punt, so that was just a little tweak, and he's so that means he's healthy. That's also a plus, right?
Yeah, he's good, and he just brings such a different element. His size, dude, is unreal like that.
Yeah.
Did you ever play with a backer that tall and lanky? I mean, he looks like a tight end.
Dallas Sarks was close. I think Dallas was like 6'4", maybe.
Yeah.
Close to 6'3". Dallas was tall, but Dallas was also good too. Like so.
And Gentry, every practice, it's a swag thing, right? Like he has to have his jersey tucked in the shoulder pads, just showing off the 8-pack. Like if he ever has his jersey down, it's always bare belly, just showing off the 8-pack.
That's good. That's good. So this is the last thing I do want to ask you, because I know I saw a report earlier this year from Fox about Caleb Williams and how Caleb Williams he has to be more of a dick this year because, he has expectation, he has the standards, but it seems like he doesn't really have to be a dick because, like you said, when a team is good, you feel the aura, and you described it earlier, like the aura is there, like you could tell, like they're there for business and they're there to win games. So, do you think that was more of Caleb Williams in the offseason working out, or do you think everybody's finally bought in? Like, look, this is a team that could be really good and be good for a very long time, and we're going to buy in, we're going to do this, and we're going to get better, and we're going to win a lot of championships?
Yeah, I think the latter. I think everyone just knows what they have and how special this team is, has the ability to be, and they have everything going for them. And they play their brand of football. They're going to go undefeated. And I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated, but if they play to their potential, they are far and away the best team in the Pac-12 and the best team in their 12-game schedule. So they just have to get to that level every week. And Caleb's obviously the leader of that. What I like about Caleb and what I like watching him is he has a very blended style of leadership. And again, I'm not in the locker room, I'm not there every day, but from the little bits I see, is he definitely can have a stern business attitude, but also he's still a kid too. Like he still has playful. Like there was at the end of they were doing their warm-ups and then they split off to individuals, and him and it wasn't Raleek Brown. Him and someone were like racing across the field to get their side, like laughing, racing, like,
Yeah.
having fun. It's playing football, right? You got to have
Right.
some fun and let your hair out a little bit, but he knows when to kick it into gear and, it's business only and that. But yeah, I didn't see that article, but I don't think he needs to be a dick in order to command the huddle, which everyone respects the heck out of Caleb Williams. So I don't think he needs to change anything he's doing.
No, 100%. That's good. Before we move on to the show, it is officially week 1, Ryan. Week 1 of college football. That means it's time to get those bets in, set up your parlay, play your money lines, play your over-unders, even hit the spread. I'm taking the risk on the spread this week. I'm gonna go TCU is gonna cover the 20 points in Texas. So I don't think Prime is ready in. So I took TCU to cover. I won last week playing on Bet Online. I took the over in that New Mexico State game. Random game. Yes, I found like that should be able to work. But if you want to play these games, set your parlays up, and you got the big winner, go to betonline.ag. They have all your up-to-minute stats, spreads, commentary, everything you need there to get the perfect score in and make your money. That's betonline.ag. Not only that, they will match your 50% bonus with promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. Promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. I got it right again, Ryan. That's betonline.ag where the game starts. All right,
I got a parlay. I just got to say, I got a parlay going right now. And everyone listens to this, it'll be done, so they'll know if I won or lost. But I got Nebraska plus 7.5. I got NC State minus 7.5, I believe, and then NC State under. I want to say it was 49.5.
Who's North Carolina State playing?
UConn. So right now they're all looking good, but I didn't want to knock on wood because they each got some time left, so we'll see. But anyway, go ahead.
No, that's a good one. Moving forward. So week 1 is finally here. The good thing about it is I guess we could say we had the advantage and we played a practice exhibition game. Not exhibition, preseason game. We played a preseason game. We got to play week 0. So there's a game under our belt. Their mistakes are able to be fixed. We get 1+ game of being in game shape. We've played at game speed already. And we're bringing in the team first game of the season, right? We'll say middle of the pack in the Mountain West Conference. I don't know how they were down at the bottom last year. Their head coach left the year before. They brought in a new guy. They weren't as good as they were when Norvell was there. But this is their first game of the year. Coming into the Coliseum, I think there will be a little bit more fans this year because they're like, all right, this is something worth watching. And people, now it's football season for everybody. People were a little confused about the 0 week. They're like, wait, why isn't everybody playing? But this is college football season. The official kickoff, they have the Thursday game. They normally do Thursday kickoff when college football starts.
Yep.
I think the team that we're going to see on Saturday is the SC team everybody expects.
Mm-hmm.
Going off of what you said, like setting the standard, and they understand what they need to be and how good they are. You got freshmen who've already have one game. You have freshmen who's starting to become a star, playing one game and getting all the jitters out, and then you're coming in and playing a team that hasn't played one game and hasn't made any mistakes, not in game shape. The SC's not a game shape either, right? It takes about 4 games to get in complete game shape, but they have a game under their belt. Having a game under your belt, it's going to look a lot different than it did last week. If this was SC's first game, it'll be, okay, we know what we expect, but like the wise guys, I think, have it at 38. It needs to be a lot higher. I think we're going to see a whole lot of points this weekend. A whole lot of points from SC, and I don't think we're going to see a lot of points from Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, Nevada, pretty bottom team last year. They went, 2-10? Their first-year head coach, what's his name? Ken Wilson, took over for Norvell, who had built a great program there, and then moved on to Colorado State. So, you expect some growing pains early on. The only thing that scares me in this game, and it's not for fear of losing, but for fear of fans freaking out about the defense, is, you look at Nevada last year, and they were bottom 15 in rushing yards per attempt. Obviously, the big bugaboo for this SC team is against the run, right? Well, they did get Colorado transfer Brandon Lewis dual threat quarterback who, is not a great passer, at least did not look good in Colorado last year, hence why he transferred, but can definitely move the chains with his legs. And that's what kind of killed SC last week in San Jose State was Cordero extending plays with his legs. So I think it's a really good test for SC because they're going to be facing quarterbacks throughout the season that are dual threat and have the ability to do that. And so this now going up against a weaker opponent, but they'll get a good test from the quarterback position to have to show contain, to show that QB spy to stay home, to, as you talk about, great when you talk scheme, like, is it going to be, the corners, playing cover 3, or are they going to be containing or whatever it may be? This is a good test to kind of show if this scheme will work against this type quarterback, if they're there yet, if it's a scheme deficiency, if it's players playing together deficiency, or if it's like they got to go back to the drawing board, because when you go up against Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Cam Rising, De La Rosa, all those guys, or Jaden DeLora.
DeLora,
yeah, DeLora. You're not going to stop him if you can't stop a guy like Brendan Lewis this week. So I think it's a really good test to see how they improve against a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah, so I think it's something that can be fixed. SC's defense is a big secondary contained team. And a lot of people are like, oh, they always going to, they just depend on the secondary contain. And I mean, it is what it is. The one thing that they put the right numbers in the box from what I saw, but I'm not so much worried about this game because we have the ability to look at numbers, and numbers don't lie, especially when it comes to football. And like when we saw, like, all right, they had 2 big running plays. They had another 198 yards rushing, but for the most part, it wasn't that bad. The quarterback had 198 yards. So I'll put it like this. So the goal when I was playing is keep the team under 200 yards passing, keep the team under 100 yards rushing, right? In today's game, I feel like if you keep them below 250, 300, that's just today's game, right? You keep them below 250, 300, and you still keep them under 100-yard rushing. I think that's a pretty solid game, right?
Yeah.
And you get to see how impressive that is. Like, so they kept them. They ran for 198. That's fine. There's 2 big plays. That's fixable. You take away those 2 big plays, they're under 100 yards. They passed for 198, and the score shows when a team passes for 198. So like, people are a little worried about the secondary. It was funny. I went to lunch with a guy on what was that, Wednesday at Smash House Burger. Actually, the one over there, the news place on
how is that? I've been meaning to go. Is it good?
It's pretty good. Okay, it's not bad. So I went over there and we're talking. And he was like, "Oh yeah, their secondary is terrible." I was like, "They only gave up 198 yards passing." Yeah, but they blew a lot of coverages. I'm like, that's going to happen in the first game. Like, it wasn't that bad. Like, yeah, like he was like, "Oh well, the defense got to get better." Blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden it came out like the dude that I work, he was like, "Hey, he played for SC." Like, and then he was like, "Oh, so how do they fix it?" I'm like, "It's not bad." Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like,
and again, just to reiterate on the broken plays, because there were some. Sorry to cut you off, but that, like, the score before the half, I think, was the most frustrating, and part of that was situationally being put in that position. But credit to San Jose State, like the actual touchdown play, I mean, it was solid coverage. It was just an absolute dime pass and an unbelievable, stretched out catch. So sometimes there's no defense for, a great offensive play, sadly.
Right. And all right. So I'm not going to really harp on the defense as much, because all I'm saying is that I don't think they're going to give up as much as they think. Well, they may give up a lot because of the quarterback scramble, but if the quarterback's going to beat me on scrambling, he can have that. If that quarterback beats me, he has to be Vince Young in the national championship, right? He needs to be Eric Crouch. He needs to be somebody that's worth it. So I can't stop them all, right? Yeah. And that's what people need to understand. Like, you won't be able to stop them all. Just stay solid and just improve. You have 4 games. SC's lucky because they have 4 games where they just need to improve defensively, and this is another opportunity to improve. Not even defensively, all around. They play in Nevada, then they play Stanford, and then they go to Arizona State. Like, those are great games, and then they get a bye, and then they get to go to Boulder and play Colorado. Like, they're kind of cruising right now. You know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be any there shouldn't be any surprises, but they're kind of proven right now. Like, just get better, because the way that they set their schedule, not them, but the way the Pac-12 set their schedule up is that they have to go through the gauntlet when it really counts, right? When you really hurt and your body gets hurt and starts to hurt and starts to ache and all that. So, I mean, it's an opportunity to get better. But me personally, about this game, this is a game where like, all right, cool. Like, I'm expecting 70-14 in this game. Like, I'll tell you why. Because like you said, there's an aura around there, and they feel like this is about business. We're here to set a standard, and we're here to make a statement. As much as you try to silence the outside noise, you still hear the outside noise, right? Like, people say, well, silence the outside noise. You can't silence the outside noise. You have to minimize the outside noise as much as you can, right? So they hear the reporters come in and asking their coach, well, what's up with the defense? People are going to talk to them, well, what's up with the defense? They're in class with people saying, well, the defense didn't look that great. You know what I mean? And they understand, like, all right, well, this is our statement game. They get an opportunity to make a statement game, right? And hopefully Caleb has another walk in the park where those 4 touchdown passes. I just looked at the stats. He went 18 for 25. Like, like
simple.
18 for 25, quick 200, 4 touchdown passes. Like, this is going to be the game that everybody expected last week. And I'm happy for the 0-week game, because it's like, oh, okay, cool. This game, 70-14. And I could be wrong. I could just like overshot the score last year. What did I say? 13-10. But I just thought it was going to be a weird day. But this is going to be one of those games where it's like, oh, okay, these are the Trojans we expected. These are the Trojans we came to see.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about the offense, right? Because, to get 70 points, this thing needs to get rolled. I mean, they finished with 56 last week, and they had a slow start, slow first half, really. And, kicked it in the gear. Obviously a kick return always helps that as well. So, what do you expect kind of from the offense? Is it going to be a very, big plays left and right? They're scoring on every possession. Caleb's out of there by midway through the third quarter, and even potentially another kick or punt return from Zachariah.
Yeah, all that. All of the above. All of the above, right? So, like, I just like, first drive, touchdown. Like, you're going to – here's the best part about offensively about this, right? You're going to see everybody and what they could do this week, right? You're going to see – like, the most underrated receiver when you're really looking at it, and the guy that you really need to worry about is Tahj Washington.
Yeah.
Because Tahj Washington is sneaky, right? You leave him open, he'll pop a big play on you, right? And so Tahj Washington is a sneaky guy, right? You'll see Brenden Rice, Dorian Singer, the freshman. He was number 8, I think. Not number 8. The other freshman receiver.
Makai
Lemon. You'll see a lot of him. Third, you should see a third quarter exit from Caleb Williams. I think the bulk of the play in the third quarter is going to be from Miller Moss, right? You'll get a lot of reps from Miller Moss, right? And hopefully we get to see some Malachi Nelson, more reps in the fourth quarter. And the good thing about Malachi Nelson, even if he is redshirting, like, he'll get to travel because they always take 3 quarterbacks, and he gets to play 4 games, so he gets to see that. This is a perfect game for Malachi Nelson to get a whole bunch of reps. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Nevada. It's just that Nevada came in on a bad week, right? And I should say it like this: if SC is who they say they are, right, and they're about their business and they're about making statements, this should be one of those games where you're like, all right, you guys got something to say about us? Watch this. Here you go. Leave us alone. Like, let us go do it. So this is a statement that they have to make. And a lot of the points are going to be in the second half, and a lot of the points are going to be from guys who probably won't score a lot of touchdowns this year. So that's also another thing. It's going to be from, like, third-string receivers, true freshmen who are running red shirt. Like, we're going to see some deep in the roster touchdowns. Don't be surprised if Malachi Nelson throws his first touchdown of his career this weekend. Like, You know what I mean?
Ooh,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a possibility.
Oh, you said it's going to happen. You said it's going to happen.
So there's a possibility that it could happen, and that's the route that I see this game going. Now, will it be 70-14? Probably not, but it's going to be it's going to be more than the 58 that they put up last week for sure.
Yeah. So for me, and this is just, what's that saying when you're talking about, the spoiled rich or whatever, but I want to see, Kyron Hudson, who got the nod to start at receiver, kind of the unknown guy. Everyone knows, obviously, all the big names we've already mentioned: Singer, Williams, Branch, Rice. Kyron Hudson got the start. He's one of the number ones, one of the top 3 on the depth chart. Not super involved last week, so I'd love to see him get a little more involved because he's a super young guy too. I believe he's a redshirt sophomore. So, love to see him get involved more and see kind of what he brings this offense that maybe some other receivers don't. I also love Alfred, and again, last week was kind of like a preseason game, and me and you talked about this during the game. We've talked about after the game, but situationally, like I never want to sit here and pretend like I know more than these coaches. Like, at least you coach, you can say you've been in those instances. I haven't. So I don't want to pretend like I know more than, especially Lincoln Riley is one of the best in the apps at actual business. But when you're in short down situations, like I want to see them strategically just Austin Jones is getting the rock. Like, let's not get cute with it. Let's not play the running backs or whatever. Like, that's what I want to see more of just like, let's do what player does what well. Short to go, goal to go situations. Give Austin Jones the rock. He wants contact. Nothing against Marshawn Lloyd. I think Marshawn Lloyd is great against contact also. Same with some of the freshman backs. But, I mean, that's Austin Jones' bread and butter. So, for me, I want to see Kyron Hudson get a little more involved. And just situationally, I'd love to see the personnel match the situation a little better this week.
Right. And they have the ability to do it because we seen it last year. Also, don't be surprised. I just looked his name up because he low-key had a hell of a game last week. Lake McCree, the tight end.
Yeah, tight end.
Yeah. Don't be surprised.
He doesn't get any shine, but yeah, good guy.
Yeah, he had a pretty decent game last week too. So Lake McCree to have a big game, but I 100% agree. Like, man, as you know, I'm a big Austin Jones fan. Like, I think like he's a downhill, forward pushing running back. I'm happy he's the starter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a place for Marshawn Lloyd. There's a place for Austin Jones. The place isn't that hard. You know what I mean? If you want to go quick and you need somebody to hit the corner fast, there you go, Marshawn Lloyd. If you're going to run power or any downhill gap scheme plays between the centers and the guards, Austin Jones. Simple. And he's going to do it. And he might not pop a big play, but he'll get you 6 yards, right? And last time I checked, 6 + 6 is 12, and you only need 10 yards to get a first down. So, like,
nice math. Nice.
So
even
like,
for a contractor, well done.
Yeah. So it's easy. Like it's so easy to figure those things out. I don't know what they think schematically, and like you said, I'm not in the room, and I'm not game planning with them, and so, but you're right. Like, perfect example. Last week, they're down on the goal line. They give the ball to Marshawn Lloyd twice. They give the ball to number 21, the true freshman. Austin Jones gets the ball, walks right in. Like, and that's the thing that we need to worry about. Now that we say that, that's the thing that we need to worry about this week. Lincoln Riley trying to get cute, and he has tendencies to get cute, and he has a tendency to say, "Hey, look at all my toys." This is not the week. This is the week, like, say, hey, when we get in the grit of this, when we have to play Utah and we have to play Oregon, or we're in a battle with Arizona, just in case, and if the game gets closer, what are we going to do and what's our bread and butter, right? And so that I think this is the week to say, like, here it is, right? Mm-hmm. Stanford next week is not going to be a slap game. Like, there's Stanford's a rival. They have a kind of a chip on the shoulder. And like I said before, it's the last weekender. I wouldn't be surprised if it sells out because it's the last weekender. Like, there's kind of a special place for Stanford. So, like, they got to be prepared for that.
A lot of Stanford alum here in LA, too.
Yeah.
A lot of Stanford alum here in LA.
So, that's the one of the things. So, like, they need to – this is a perfect week for the offense to build their identity, right? Because if we're walking out of last week's game, do you feel the offense has identity? Because I don't.
Yeah, not a true identity. I mean, we just know who the stars are. I think that's what you're asking. Like, we don't know exactly what's the bread and butter of this team. We just know, hey, Caleb's Superman, Zachariah Branch is this new hot commodity, and they have a super deep receiving core. And they had some good, some good runs from Jones and Lloyd. But yeah, I agree with you. They need to establish that true identity.
Right. They need to figure out like who they are, how they're going to do it. So that's how we're going to work that. But Ryan, also want to let you know that I go to work at 5:30 in the morning. Except when I go to Pasadena, I have to be there at 6, so I get to sleep in for 15 minutes. But, but I don't like. I hate fast. I hate to have to go to drive-through. It's expensive. It's not good for me. So when I wake up in the morning, I take AG1. It's a great supplement full of vitamins, nutrition, organic fruits that they have, and it's overall a good choice. It gets me through that 9 o'clock wall because if you have to go to work in the morning by 9 a.m., you're hungry because that's pretty much like the middle of your day. And we normally don't go to lunch until about 11:30. So AG1 keeps me full. It's something that I'm putting in my body that I know is not harming me compared to all the preservatives that I do. Your opportunity is you get to take AG1. You get AG1 today. You get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D. You also get 5 free travel packs. All you have to do is go to drinkag1.com/salute to Troy. Tell them we sent you, and we'll hook you up. Once again, that's drinkag1.com/salute to Troy. You know, Serena Williams also drinks AG1. Apparently, that's what was on TV the other day.
she's one of the spokespeople. Yeah.
They
got a bunch of cool athletes that are spokespeople for them.
Yeah, definitely. So if Serena does it, anybody could do it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, if you win a major pregnant, you're doing something right. So and you're the winningest women's tennis player ever. So, let me ask you this: since you played, film obviously in football is such a big key to getting that edge. Now, I'm not saying this is a concern for this game. I think even we're not trying to disrespect Nevada, but I mean, there's just the talent level so the discrepancy between talent is so different that USC is going to walk away with this game. It's just a fact. But is there anything to an actual narrative of having no film on a team? Because SC played last week, Nevada hasn't played yet. Is there anything to that can actually not only give an advantage to Nevada, but really puts SC at a disadvantage, at least for that first half, just because they really have nothing to go off of?
No. I don't think so. So like film gives you tendencies and you have a good idea of what they're going to do, right? Especially when you're game planning and things like that. Except, well, when I was in high school is real easy. But like, so here's the thing. In college, we could watch 4 games worth of film and you could say they ran this formation, this formation, this formation. This is what they're going to do in this formation. And the first play of the game, they come out in a whole brand new formation, but they still run the same plays. The plays don't change, the formation changes, and then it comes to lining up against the formation. So it really doesn't matter. And then they have film from last year, and they also have film on the quarterback, so they have an idea of what they're going to do. It gets so. Here's a good story. So we were playing Arkansas. And Arkansas got a new offensive coordinator. And somehow we got their spring game. And then somehow we had all their high school film because that offensive coordinator came from high school. So we had all the high school film. So we had an idea of what they're going to run. So they may not have a game from this year per se, but they'll have plenty of games from last year that they brought a new OC and they'll have an idea of what he's going to do. So they'll be prepared enough to where if they see something, it won't be a shock to them. It's at that level, you have so many resources that you're not unprepared. You have an idea, you know what I mean? So it's not so much as a disadvantage and they won't be caught off guard. It's more of what are they going to do? Okay, so you did bring up a good point because when you do play people like that, you kind of over-prepare because he's like, he runs this, and this. I've seen this, and this. So you're over-prepared. So you have to get an idea of what they're going to do. And so once you get an idea after what they call the script, like their first 15 to 20 plays, once you get an idea of the script, and then here's what we used to do is like, because I was up in the booth also, and I also scripted. So the DC will ask me, like, he'll be like, hey, Ro, like, what have they done so far and what have they ran? Like, oh, they ran this, and this. On this down, they ran this, and on this down, they ran this, and this is how they did it. Okay, so now the DC has an idea of what they're going to do. So they'll get an idea of what they're going to do. There's plenty of resources. There's plenty of GAs. There's plenty of analysts there that'll be having prepared, and they'll be all right. They just have to hone down on what they're going to see and what they're going to do.
You know who's the swaggiest analyst at SC?
Who's that?
Oh, Cliff Kingsbury. Saw him in practice on Tuesday, looking all swaggy Cliff.
Did he have the joggers and the black long sleeve Trojan?
Oh, you know it. Joggers, black long sleeve, and the bucket hat.
He was rocking the bucket hat. He wasn't going with the visor.
Yeah, bucket hat. I posted a picture earlier today on Twitter. You'll check it out. So he's looking swaggy. So
about Cliff, right? Cliff is probably there's plenty of lucky people in sports, right? If you're a backup quarterback, in the NFL, you have the best job in the world. You practice 2 days a week and you get paid millions of dollars and hope the starter doesn't get hurt, right?
Yep.
Right after them is Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is getting paid a good amount of money from USC. And a lot of people think it's absurd money. If I was to guess, he's probably getting paid about $50,000 from SC, because
you think that's it?
That's it, because if SC pays 50, then the Cardinals have to pay him the rest.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's still under contract. So
yeah, he's still under that contract, but he gets to hang out with his friend and talk football. I'll take that. Yeah. Hey, Cliff, what do you think about this? Oh, I would do it like this, and this. Oh, okay, cool. I'll take that in consideration. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what do you think about this, Cliff? Like that is, Cliff is the luckiest man in the world right now. You can't.
Oh, for sure. Like just look at this guy. I don't know if you can even see it if it'll focus or not. Probably won't.
No, it won't focus. I'm gonna look at it. You put it on Twitter?
Yeah, I just on our LAFB, but I just retweeted from my personal one. So, but no, he just, you can tell he's out there. Obviously he has a job to do, but it's not a very stressful job, like you said. He gets to hang with the boys and look flashy. He probably still has his crazy mansion out in Phoenix that he goes to, and he just comes here for a couple days a week, and yeah, gotta love it.
I mean, you can't beat that at all. But Cliff being there and having the same model, and he's probably speaking the same language as Lincoln Riley is probably a good factor. And you have somebody else talking to Caleb that knows what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of weird when a lot of coaches are don't talk to my quarterback, but with Cliff there, you kind of just walk over like, oh, what you guys talk about? Oh, okay, good deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not.
I mean, for all his faults as a head coach, like he did coach Pat Mahomes in college. He did have some good success with Kyler Murray at Arizona. So he's done some good quarterback stuff. So everyone
with Johnny Manziel too.
That's right. I mean, he was on that doc. He was on the whatever it's called, the Johnny Manziel doc. Yeah. So a lot of people forget that Cliff for about 2 weeks was SC's offensive coordinator under Clay Helton before he got the Arizona job.
That's true.
He was hired and then left before job even started for Arizona. And then that's when they brought in
Graham
Harrell out of North Texas. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Fred, and we can wrap up with this unless you have more to get into. And I kind of said 2 things, but I'll think of 3 more. Give me 3 things you want to see this Saturday happen, whether that's a specific player performance, whether that's a scheme thing, whether that's a score output, whatever it is. Just give me 3 things that you want to see go down on Saturday outside of a win.
Yeah. So one I kind of mentioned before. I kind of want to see the offense. I kind of want to see the offense build an identity, right? I want to make and like you said, we know who Caleb is, right? We know who Zion Branch is, but there's a lot more that they have to do to build their identity, and they're just scratching the surface. 2 is I guess I'll just say 1B, and I just want to see Lincoln Riley get to the point. He doesn't need to show off his new toys. We know who his new toys are. Don't get cute. Just run your scheme and do what you do. He tends to get like that with lesser opponents. If you notice, he wants to try all this new stuff to see if it works. This is not the game to do that. Let's get straight to it. The second one I want to see is I want to see turnovers. There weren't any turnovers. And I think it's because San Jose was a little conservative with the ball. But one of the things last year, maybe because I'm spoiled, you remember at one point SC led the nation in turnovers, right? They led not the turnovers, but the interceptions. So I kind of want to see the turnover mantra come back. And the third thing is I want the bell to be loud. What do we have to do to get the bell loud again on third down? I want, so I want SC to become a third down team. Like you win football games on third down, and that's the biggest critique I guess I will say that I have about the defense is like you can't give. I don't want to see any third down plays given up, especially third and long. Like let's hold them, and that right there is how you set identity. If you know that you're going to get stopped on third down, then it changes the whole outlook on your season, and opponents start to get scared and they start to get worried about what's going to happen. So I want to see good third down defense. The second one was I forgot what I said for the second one. The first one was I want to see identity offense, good third down defense. Oh, and I want the bell to come back. I want the bell to be loud. I don't know what we have to do to get the bell to be a big deal, but
we got to talk to Jen. Got to talk to Jen.
Yeah, we got to talk.
We got to get Candace and Jen together and see what happens.
I don't think
Jen get together. The bell might get turned off.
Yeah, I don't think Candace and Jen need to be together yet. We got to give Jen and Candace about 2 or 3 years before we get them together. But the bell's a big deal, and I don't know if a lot of people will understand. But when I played there, the bell meant something. So I will say this: the PA announcer has been there for a long time. He's been there since I've been there. It's the exact same dude. So that's pretty good. I would love to meet that dude. I don't even know who it is, but he's been there for a long time. But I want to see the vibe.
The vibe in the stadium, though, for week 0 of San Jose State was a good vibe. So I just want to see you keep building on that. By week 3 against Stanford, that thing's going to be rocking. So I was pumped to see that. All right. So for me, my big 3, first, I want to see some sacks. They're going up. I believe Nevada is returning an offensive line with 37 combined starts this year. So it's a very inexperienced unit. You have a impressive D-line in terms of talent with Bear and Kyron and Lucas and Jamil Muhammad coming off the edge and Sullivan. And so I want to see those guys get in the backfield. Nevada also just to throw more stats out there, gave up an average of 6.85 tackles for loss per game. So I want to see backs tackle in the backfield. So this is where I want to see the defensive line eat. We'll make it simple like that. It doesn't have to just be sacks. I want to see the defensive line eat on Saturday, whether it's TFLs, sacks, just no gains, whatever it is. I want to see them eat. And I'd love to see Jamil Muhammad get in the stat sheet for sacks. I love the intensity and the leadership he brings to that unit as a transfer from where he came from. So that's number 1. Number 2, we've been talking Zach Branch all week. I'm going to stick with it. I want to see him not even live up to the hype that created from the first game, but just build upon that. So not saying the guy needs 240 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns, but just another solid performance. I don't want to see, and this wouldn't worry me by any means, but I don't want to see him come out and have a dud of a game after what he had in week 0. So just touches. Come out, 10 touches would be great. 3 or 4 rushes, 5 or 6 catches, and obviously the special teams game as well. Just keep building upon that already established legacy after 4 quarters of football. So that's number 2. Number 3, we talked about it in the recap. I got to see the offensive line improve. We got to find our 5 starters. We saw about an 8-man rotation in week 0. So I think we'll see a lot of that again, just because, hey, they're treating this kind of like a preseason game. We want to truly find those true starting 5. But let's be real. Caleb Williams should not be pressured at all in this game. If he's flushing the pocket, I don't want to see that. I want to see holes for these running backs, Austin Jones and Lloyd and so forth. So Justin Dedich had a great game at center. He moved from guard to center. So his first true game as a center, and I thought he shined at center. But outside of him, there was definitely some, again, not concern. There was just some growing pains, if you will, from the other 4 spots. So just see some continuity, see some consistency, and some improvement from your starting 5. And hopefully they establish a starting 5. So going into Stanford, we know the starting 5 that play every down moving forward. So those are my big 3. We got defensive line eats, Zachariah Branch stacks bricks and offensive line improves mightily.
I was looking for a stat while you were talking, and I don't know. I want to say give you the right. I can't find it, but they started a true freshman on the offensive line. It was the first time since 2014. It was in the game notes, but I can't remember his name. I can't find it.
Alani Noah.
There you go. See, that's why you're here, because you are the Suluta Troy encyclopedia.
There you go. Yeah, I'm your GA. I'm your analyst. I'll be the Cliff Kingsbury of the show. That's fine.
That's cool. So he started for the first time as a freshman. He was started as a true freshman, was like since the first time since 2014. But 8 is a lot. 8 is a lot. So they got to find their 5. They actually need to find 6, and the 6 could be a swing man just in case somebody gets hurt. But they need to find their 5, and they have to find their 5 pretty quick because they have to establish playing together. Because out of all positions on the field, that's the relationship that matters the most because they communicate more than people think. And so that's they need to find it, and they need to find it quick, and hopefully we could get the establishment. So definitely,
and it's a tight group. Like they're super close, but you obviously just got to play at game speed with the same group. But the whole offensive line room is extremely tight, and they've built a good bond. But yeah, you need that continuity on game days.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get that to work. There's another thing now that you say that. There was a couple of times where Caleb Williams was back there for like 13 seconds.
Yeah,
we're gonna need the receivers to get open. That's one of the things we need to see too. Like maybe they worked on it with scramble drill and things like that. So the receivers getting open, because sitting back there and not having anybody open, it's not a great look. But
yeah, with all the talent they have.
The good thing about Caleb is though his eyes are always downfield. So even if he does have the opportunity to scramble, his eyes are still downfield, and that is why he kind of waits, which makes him a great pro, which is why the Rams are going to tank. He's going to go to to LA. And
you just dropped St. Louis. Come on, guy.
He's going to go to LA. That's Matt Stafford's replacement. So there you go. You heard it here first.
That's what we want. We've been saying that for years. So keep Caleb in LA. If
that does happen, I might have to do the Rams podcast because I'm all about Caleb. I have to follow Caleb's career.
Do you think? I feel like, and maybe this is a crazy thought, but I feel like there's a real possibility, especially with NIL now, and Caleb's already making like $3.25 million in NIL.
That he stays for a senior year.
That he stays depending on what team. Like obviously, you almost have to declare. Well, they'd have time to see. He'd know who'd be that first team, and if it's in Arizona or a team that's in turmoil, like I could see him coming back another year.
Yeah,
because he said in a recent interview he didn't commit to it, and obviously he's a smart guy. Like he's been super trained to talk to media, but when asked about next year, he's like, "Oh, I don't know yet what's happening next year." So I could see that if depending on the team that he comes back.
Right, you don't have to. That's the good thing with NIL. You don't have to kill your career and go to a bad team, right? You don't have to end up like Justin Fields. You could wait one more year or be like, "Nah, I'm good." Like,
dude, if he wins Heisman again, he'll make $10 million next year on NIL deals.
Right, and so then also that makes teams jockey a little bit. Like, nah, I'm not going to the league, and people start asking why. Like, I don't want to play for that team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so teams will start trading up. Like, what if we had a shot at him? Like, it's worth a try. So I could definitely see that happen. Like, the players starting to have a little bit of control of the draft. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and I bet you Cliff's in his ear like, you don't want to go to Arizona. You don't want to go to Arizona. I was just there. You don't want to go there.
Speaking of NIL, LAFB, big news about NIL.
Let's announce it. Good call. So
yeah,
LAFB Network partnering with the Conquest Collective, started by the great Jeff Makai, grandson to the winningest, or I don't know if winningest overall record, but the great John Makai, coach of USC. We're partnering with doing some mostly, merchandising with these student athletes, which is going to be awesome. We're going to do custom designs for a lot of players, starting off in the football space and probably in the other sports as well. And then potentially we're going to be doing some, media and podcast stuff with these players too. So pumped, Al, pumped. We're even more involved and ingrained at SC. It's great.
I could be like all the other podcasts that you guys see now on the network that have shirts. I have no merchandise for my podcast. I'm like Candace now with AG1. Like, when do I get my merchandise? I know how to get it now that you told me. So I'll start getting shirts and things like that. So definitely, that's big news. Conquest, happy to be a part of that. We'll start to see some more guys on our show. Hopefully we get some good ones and have great interviews and good conversations, which will probably actually be a good idea. Like, hey, like we're going to have such and such next week. Send us your questions and maybe get some questions going and things like that. So that'll be great. I'm excited for that.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great year. And, excited, Al, to be doing the SC coverage with you all year long. It's going to be great. So you and Candace. It's going to be fine. Jamal will be here too when he's back,
the madman,
Europe, whatever he's doing right now. He's on the Tour de France or something.
Yeah. I can't wait for the madman to get back. That's going to be a good show. The four of us together. So that would definitely be great.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Good deal. Well, Ryan, it's been fun. I can't wait for Saturday. Hopefully we get an opportunity to be there. And we can get some more good footage. So definitely, I can't wait. This has been the Bet Online Salute Detroit podcast. Your man Ryan Dyrud, Al Rowe, live free, fight on. We'll see you guys next time.